Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Heubach. I'm on the Ubuntu community team, and I'm going to be joined by David Planella in just a second. He's still fighting with his web browser. And today we're going to talk about the Ubuntu Global Jam. If you're watching this through ubuntuonair.com, there's this chat widget below. Just choose your favorite nickname, hit the join button, and then you can ask all the questions you have. You can get involved in the conversation, and yeah, feel free to ask all your questions, suggestions, whatever you have. Bring it. This is a lot about being interactive. Hey Dave, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Doing well.
All right. So good morning in Europe. Good evening in Asia and other parts of the world.
There might be a few night owls in the Americas.
Cool. All right. So Daniel, I think you already did a short intro. Shall we tell anything else about how this works, as in the Hangout?
No, I told people they can ask all the questions they have, how to join IRC. If you're using a regular IRC client, just point it to Ubuntu-on-air on Freenode. For everyone else, just use the chat widget. That's the easiest way. And I'm going to watch the channel to relay all kinds of questions and feedback you have. So just keep it coming. So for those of you who are new to Ubuntu and the Ubuntu community, we have this event called Ubuntu Global Jam. It's going to happen from the 6th to the 8th of February, so just about 2 weeks. And it's an event where we want people around the world to get together locally, so in their local Ubuntu groups, and just get together, have fun, and make Ubuntu better through whatever way you want. If this is through translating, through documenting, having an install fest, fixing bugs, whatever you like. And we're going to go into much more detail about any of these activities in just a bit.
Cool.
You sounded like you wanted to add something.
Yes, I was just looking at the page on local.ubuntu.com. There's an Ubuntu Global Jam event, and since last week we've had 6 or 7 new events, which is pretty awesome. We've got about I think 11 events already registered on local.ubuntu.com, the local portal, and that's actually pretty cool. We've got people from all over the world. So we've got Ubuntu locals organizing global jams in Russia, in North America, South America, also yes, Ohio, Myanmar, I think. Wait a second. No. But yeah, and I know that there's going to be events in Europe as well, but I think they're not yet registered there. But it's pretty good that like Ubuntu communities all over the world get organized to essentially get together and run these global jams. And essentially, I mean, there are lots of different types of events that you can run if you're an Ubuntu enthusiast. And things like release parties are generally bigger. I mean, they don't have to be. It's up to everyone who organizes them. But we generally say that for an Ubuntu Global Jam, you don't need much. It doesn't have to be like a huge event. It is just about getting together and finding things to work on Ubuntu, or even if it's just not to work on things on Ubuntu, like talk about things that you like about Ubuntu, how you like to promote it. I mean, we've said it before, even just getting together and having a chat, it's just worth it because it's so much nicer to to find your local colleagues face to face rather than distributed online, and it's actually quite fun. I've been to a few Ubuntu Global Jams. I've participated in some. I've organized some, and it is always really good to just even get together, go for something to eat, work a bit about Ubuntu, talk about Ubuntu, and it's actually a lot of fun, and it doesn't require that much organization. It's mostly about finding a venue, registering something so that people can find out about the event. A good place is the local portal, but you can use any system you like, although we'd recommend everyone to put it on the local portal simply because it shows other locals and inspires other locals to organize such events. And also, if it's if it's on the local portal, then you've got there you've got facilities to describe the event, to put the location of the event, and we've got a central place for anyone who, I mean, regardless of whether they are in the world, to go to that place, to the local portal, and see what's going on in their area or nearby.
It also has a RSVP system, so you already know in advance how many people are going to show up, and it's where we point to in all our documentation. Documentation-wise, I've just pasted the link into the channel. You can find everything about the Global Jam on wiki.ubuntu.com/Ubuntu Global Jam. Yeah, so all the documentation about how to organize an event, how to promote it, possible activities, things you could do there. We have everything collected on that page, and also linked to the local portal.
Cool. All right. Any questions on IRC? As we said before, if you've got anything you'd like to know about, just prefix it with a question on #Ubuntu -on-air, Ubuntu on air, and we'll do our best to clarify.
Yeah, just heard back from Yo Boy from the French local team that they're just about to finalize the venue and everything, and there's going to be a blog post about it, and he's going to add it to the local portal as well. So if you're in France, I think it was in Paris, I don't quite know, stay tuned for more info. Right. So what do you think? Like, I guess we have a bunch of people listening now who never participated in a jam. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they have a local team. What would be the low tech way, like the least involved way to get an event rolling?
I think it's just a matter of thinking about organizing something and then finding a venue. I mean, a venue doesn't have something that doesn't have to be something that you have to rent or anything. It doesn't have to be a huge space. And if you're one or two people who want to just run an Ubuntu Global Jam, you can just run it at an internet cafe or somewhere where there's internet connectivity. So essentially, I think the first thing is thinking about the place. Then, if you know that you've got some friends or some people interested, just talk to them, tell them about the event, tell them if they want to help coordinating, order something like some food or something like that. So that it's also more pleasant to just sitting there rather than just in front of your computer. And that's about it. I mean, once you've got the event, it's a matter of, as we said before, of publicizing it. A good place to do it is on local.ubuntu.com, and there you can put all the details of the event, when it's happening, where it's happening, and the things that you're planning to do. And with this, you can also see the people who are registering for the event. So you might have a good idea of how many folks would be attending. And that's pretty much it. That's the low tech way. I mean, we've always said it. I mean, it's just a matter of having two people. That's an Ubuntu Global Jam. You don't need like a huge amount of folks, but of course, I mean, if you get more folks, then the better. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of organizing. I mean, of course, if you want to organize something bigger, you can try to find a bigger venue. I mean, sometimes if there's a computing center in your city, or hackerspace or makerspace, you can ask them for permission to run the global jam in there. There you have more space, you've got the infrastructure, and it's actually they're actually quite nice places. Because you might even find some people who didn't know about Ubuntu before and who may want to join the event. So it's just a matter of contacting them, these hacker spaces or maker spaces, and asking them if they'd be happy to have you there running Ubuntu Global Jam. Generally, if it's something small, they will do it for free. Sometimes they do it at a small fee, but it's just a matter of, I don't know, asking for anyone to voluntarily put $1 or an euro or whichever currency. I mean, it's just a small fee, really a small one. Other than that, other places you can go to are perhaps town councils where they've got an IT space, or any center in your local community where there's computer connectivity. I actually remember one of the latest ones, one of the latest local Ubuntu Global Jams that I went to was actually in a town hall. That was with the Catalan local team, and they were extremely happy to have us there. They were really helpful. They offered us the place for free. And even at the end of the event, and that was in a small town called Caldas. At the end of the event, they even gave us like a tourist pack of the place with a nice little bottle of olive oil from the region. That was really cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. So yeah, be creative about finding a venue. It's not hard work. It's just a matter of picking up the phone or just sending a couple of emails. In the past, people also did it in libraries, universities, schools. So if there's some IT or tech school nearby, just send them an email. They're often very happy to host the event, especially if it's just a bunch of people sitting there with their computers having a bit of a chat. You often don't need huge amounts of infrastructure. In general, it's absolutely worth doing one of these events because I'm living in a big city in Germany, in Berlin, so there are obviously a number of Ubuntu fans here, but some years ago, just when Ubuntu started, I was super happy when I decided to host an event, to find out how many people came up to me and said, look, I was absolutely looking for something like this. I wanted to meet other Ubuntu fans. So if you create that place where people meet, that's absolutely worth it. A lot of my best friends now, met them through this venue. So even if you don't manage to fix a lot of bugs together, but you just hang out and provide this venue where people meet, that's absolutely worth it already.
Cool. All right. So we've got your boy again is mentioning how they do it on the French team. So he says, my way to do it: I select the type of event, find the venue for that type of event, register it on a website, and promote it on a blog, or on social networks, mailing list. That's also an important part that perhaps we haven't mentioned in detail. I mean, once you've registered your event, it's really useful for you to promote it so the other people know about it. So there's different things that you can do. As we've said, you can write a blog post about it. If you're an Ubuntu member, this will get syndicated and shown on planet.ubuntu.com, which has a big audience. Also on social networks, if you've got a page for your logo, it's good to post it on there, or mailing list again if your logo has got a mailing list. If not, I mean, nowadays it's really easy just to get on any social network and do some promotion of the event.
Exactly. So we talked about venues a little bit now. Promotion. Is there any other way how people should inform others about this event?
I don't know. I mean, one thing that's worked. We've said registering the event on local.ubuntu.com, but there are also other places that you can register the event as well. There's I think Linear, there's meetups, there's many other ways in which you can register the event in online sites. Just follow your gut feeling and see what's being used in your area, I would say, and then go for it, or just be creative. I mean, these are we're just telling you are just guidelines. This should get you at least some inspiration on how you can get the ball rolling on organizing and promoting your event.
Absolutely. Yeah, what David said. Be creative. Like, you could post it on Couchsurfing. You could put up posters in a local computer shop. You could send mails to your local Linux user group. Put up posters in universities, wherever. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to reach a bunch of people who are interested in that kind of event as well.
Cool. All right, and then one thing that we haven't mentioned yet is that we encourage everyone to create Ubuntu Global Jams as a physical event where you can meet face to face to people. That's the main point of the Global Jam, because otherwise online you can meet almost any time. But I mean, there are occasions where this is not possible, or not everyone can join the physical event. So organizing a virtual one is of course also valid, and it's just a matter of, again, other than finding the event is more or less the same procedure as in registering the event and making sure you publicize it. Okay, shall we talk a bit about the different things that you can actually do once you've sorted out the infrastructure details, as in the place where you're going to run it and how you're going to run it?
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention earlier was that if you plan to host an event, you can also have a look at the local portal and just see if there's anyone else who already decided to host that kind of event, so you can join forces. Going to make much more sense. Also, that's a good way to find out if there's a local Ubuntu team already, if they have a mailing list, so you could just drop them a mail and say, look, I'm interested in hosting that kind of event. But that's also a good way to find out what people can do at the event, or what they would be interested in, or if you have somebody there who, let's say, knows a bit about translating Ubuntu, so they could give an introduction. That way you're going to find out, do we have some experts here, and then decide what you're going to do. So based on interest of the people. So yeah, activities. What did you mostly do at your global jams?
In the past, it's been mostly translations and testing. Yes. Yeah, translations testing in some of the early ones we worked on bugs as well. So yeah, essentially if you go to wiki.ubuntu.com/Ubuntu Global Jam, the link that Daniel has posted earlier on the RSC channel, you'll find a list of suggestions of things that you can do. In our particular case, when we run it, we run a translation jam, which is essentially getting together, going to launchpad.net/Ubuntu, and then looking at the apps or the packages that needs translation, and in there we organized, we essentially distributed translations that were left to do amongst the people who were there, and then we had people doing translation suggestions and other people doing reviews, making sure that the translations follow the guidelines, that they are correct, and that we get like high quality translations on Ubuntu. It is quite nice and it's quite more agile, because rather than them doing translations distributed, we did them essentially face to face. So there's quite a lot of conversation going on and discussion going on, or questions on which term to use, and which translation would be best if there's an error and everything. So it's pretty much quicker than just doing it online. But the translations in themselves, they are done on Launchpad.net, which is also the online distributed system to do translations. In terms of bugs, at that point well, that was a long time ago. I'm not sure I can quite remember actually the last bug jam that we did, because as I say, the last ones we focused more on translations, but it was mostly about triaging, I think, and finding out if we could reproduce them and see if we could add any comments to the bugs, mark them as incomplete, mark them as fixed released. We should probably, what a good idea could be. It might be, especially for the phone, which is now coming up. It might be a good idea of tagging bugs as bite size, or things that people can look at. Or rather, for us to do, it might be something to do at the Global Jam themselves, essentially tagging bugs that people can work on. I don't know. Again, I think we'll keep repeating this. Just be creative. Don't just wait and see to be told what to do. Ubuntu is just about finding something that you're interested in, and essentially going for it, like working it. And Ubuntu is about meritocracy. And if you find something where you think you're good at, where you're finding fun in working on it, then you might well become the expert on that area, and you might be the person directing the efforts on that area. So again, don't feel that you have to do exactly as you're told. Just take the initiative and go for it, essentially.
Absolutely. And whenever you run into problems or want to get a second opinion, we also have links on the wiki page, how you can get more information, how you can talk to people on IRC and find out what they're doing, or what the official way to do things is, or just if you get stuck, ask them. Yeah, what we used to do here in Berlin was also we had a look at bugs sometimes. What was interesting was we also mailed a Debian group, so we had some Debian developers there as well. So we had this small round of people who worked on Debian and Ubuntu at the same time, which was brilliant. In another small corner, we had people who just wanted to have Ubuntu installed on their machine. I remember this one guy came up with his desktop, a huge monitor and everything, and he wanted to have Ubuntu on his machine. It was great. Some others looked at doing translations, and it's just very nice, even if it's just small groups of 2 or 3 people who look at one thing together. It's just a lot of fun, especially if you decide to later on go to a place to have a pizza or something to eat, and you start chatting and see what everyone was looking at. Um, that's just great. Another thing which David mentioned earlier was testing. And that's something you can do very easily. Sometimes if you're at a place which doesn't have too great internet connectivity, you might want to download Ubuntu beforehand, like the development version, and then ask people if they want to install it to test it or run it in a virtual machine or as a live image and then report bugs about it. That's something you can do in any case.
Cool. And Daniel, I know you prepared some nice documentation for app development skills. So what can people how can people organize app dev school event, and where do they find the materials?
Right. Um, so if you go to the page we mentioned earlier, wiki.ubuntu.com/Ubuntu Global Jam, there in the top row somewhere there's run app dev school, or what, can't remember what I called it. App dev schools, yeah. This is all about writing apps for Ubuntu. So if you have people there who know a bit about programming, or they're at least interested in programming, they want to know more, and you're interested as well, then that's great, because we have some presentation materials and training materials. They're all online. The presentations come with speaker notes. So if you are the one who is going to organize this part of the event, just spend a day beforehand or not the entire day, but just a few hours, just familiarizing yourself with the materials. They should be easy enough to understand. And if you have questions, there's a lot of links where you can get in touch with other app developers to find out more. The way these materials work is that you first give an introduction. Like we have a couple of presentations. You can just mix and match whatever suits you best. And then we have materials where people work on their own through writing their first app for Ubuntu, or writing a first scope for Ubuntu. It's all great stuff that we introduced for the Ubuntu phone, but that's all stuff that is going to come to the desktop very, very soon. So if people decide to write their first apps for Ubuntu, they're going to be on the phone and then on the desktop, and that's great.
Cool. Yeah, another thing that could be quite useful, and actually it just occurred to me, we haven't put it on the wiki, or it might be perhaps under testing, but testing the new Unity 8 desktop session would be a really cool thing to do, because you'll see like the latest edge, or the cutting edge of the technologies that we're developing for the phone and that we're bringing to the desktop as part of the convergence work. So trying that and reporting bugs and comments about it is something that would be really, really useful as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, just had a look at the page myself, and I can't even remember when we added cloud jams to
Oh,
to the global jam page. Oh, that's the right about writing charms. Brilliant. Ah, Jose added the page. Okay. Jose is
yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
one of our cloud enthusiasts. Right. There's a couple of other things we didn't mention yet. For example, doc jams. We didn't talk too much about packaging jams yet. Um, there's loads of information there, and we're going to make sure that we're going to add a lot of example activities or things you might want to look into to the pages. That's still work in progress. Also, still have an action item to work on training materials for HTML5 apps. So expect them to be ready for the Global Jam. It's still on my list of things to do.
Oh, and thinking about documentation to be ready for the Global Jam, that's something else that we're working on, which is quite exciting. And it's the new porting guide for porting Ubuntu to different types of phones. Up until now, I mean, we started the porting guide when we first released the phone, and it was something put together very quickly. And while it worked for a while, the way we built Ubuntu, as in we started like building on top of Android, but then we started having like a native Ubuntu phone, so things changed quite a lot, and the guide evolved quite quickly, or rather the ways of porting evolved quite quickly, and the guide didn't really keep up. Right now we've got David Calais working on the porting guide, and he's already been doing an awesome job with some of the engineers who are working on the foundations on the low level part of the phone, in having a first draft. And he's planning to have the guide ready for the Ubuntu Global Jam a few days before. So that will be another nice addition to the menu of the things that you can do on the Ubuntu Global Jam. There's something else that could be quite interesting as well. You might have heard the announcements about Snappy and Internet of Things in recent weeks. If you go to developer.ubuntu.com/snappy or ubuntu.com/things, you learn exactly what it is, what this is about. It is about, in a nutshell, it is about Ubuntu Core. Ubuntu Core is like the lean and mean version of Ubuntu. It's really streamlined version with just the essentials, the core of Ubuntu. And it's using technologies which were developed for the phone to do transactional upgrades, in which you've got a clear separation between the platform and apps or snaps that go on top. And if there's something going wrong, you can easily roll back to the previous version. It is a step forward from, or the evolution from an app-based system. It's using similar technologies, but it is something completely different in terms of the philosophy of having this this isolation between the system and the apps. And this isolation is essentially also put together by strong layer of security based on AppArmor, where apps cannot do anything to the system. Apps are confined. They're isolated units, and they provide a much more secure experience to the user as well. So that's more or less what Snappy is in a nutshell. And there's Snappy for the cloud. There's Snappy for ARM HF, for the ARM HF architecture, meaning any boards, any devices, any phones that are based on ARM HF. And there's going to be very soon. Actually, got the scaffolding already in place for x86 devices. And there's even a porting guide which is specific for Snappy. So learning about Snappy might be a good activity to run on the Global Jam, talking about the cool things that you can do with Snappy, and also creating snaps, as in really lightweight packages for Snappy, things that you can install on your Snappy-powered box or device or whatever. So yeah, spread the word about Snappy and learn more about it. It's quite a lot. It's quite exciting stuff.
Yeah, plus one to everything David said. Speaking of porting Snappy, Oliver Gravert just today released a blog post also about bringing up Snappy on a new ARM HF board. So if you're into making things, if you have a board lying around, if you want to play with it, um, now's a good time to do so. And the great thing about also if you're a bit less technical, less into kernel and stuff, Snaps, as David said, is a fantastic way to contribute to Ubuntu because providing these snaps, services, apps, whatever you can think of, um, they're very soon going to um, yeah, be available for all kinds of devices. It's part of the latest plan to not only bring Ubuntu to your laptop, desktop server, and the phone, but to your fridge, your router, whatever you want, and
You've
the
forgotten the
sky's the limit
toaster.
there. Right, toaster, obviously. Um, it's just fantastic to have this absolutely new space where you as a pioneer can do whatever you like. It's just brilliant. Mixing and matching like household devices and stuff we all know and love in Ubuntu. So I don't know if your toaster needs a VPN and a BitTorrent client. I don't know, but you can try out, right?
Excellent. All right. Um, okay, I think we've covered more or less the basics. We haven't gone into detail of all of the types of events that you can run, but I think this is something that I mean we've given you some ideas, I think, and the wiki already gives you detailed information on each particular type of event. So again, get inspired, be creative, and think of the cool things or crazy things that you can do at an Ubuntu Global Jam.
Yeah. You can also, think we have links to the Ubuntu local teams IRC channel or the local contacts mailing list. If not, we're going to add them in just a second because that's places where people hang out who've done a lot for their individual local community teams. So these are all experts. So if you decide to run a jam event or have a release party and don't know what to do or I don't know resources for posters or material stuff, like they can help you out. Like they're all super excited to get to know somebody new. Nobody's going to shout at you. Just ask all the questions you have, and they're going to be there for you.
All right. Is there any questions on IRC? Um,
Oh, while you're looking at questions, your stories. Like at the event, it would be absolutely fantastic if you took a few pictures. I mean, in most of them, there's going to be a bunch of people sitting around computers, obviously. But still, it's just so much fun to see what people are doing around the world. The last time we had pictures from Iran, Mauritius, from all these far-flung places, and it's just very nice to see how people do something. It's very inspiring and it's a lot of fun for everyone else.
all right. So I think we're good for questions on IRC. I mean, I'd say that's pretty much that I had on my place on my plate, and hopefully that will get you started on organizing the jam. I don't know, Daniel. Did you want to add anything on your side of things?
No, not really. Like, have a look at all the documentation, wiki ubuntu.com/Ubuntu Global Jam. You'll find a lot of inspiration on there, and then you can ask all the questions you have. If you're not watching this live right now, but later on through the video and think, shit, I wish I would have talked to these guys. I think Mike and Nick also wanted to organize something, so stay tuned for an update I guess we're going to have some event later on, which is going to be more suitable for the Americas time zones.
Cool. So with that, and with a reminder as take pictures and show us the cool things that that you guys do. I think we'll just wrap it up for today. And again, if you're in a different time zone, stay tuned for Ubuntu On Air, as Daniel is saying. There might be other events or Q&As coming up. So I think
Right.
with that, thank you. Oh, there's actually a question. There's a last minute question.
Okay.
All right. Akiva Abraham, question: what's the most pressing issue that needs to be solved? Oh wow, that's that's a broad question.
I think Ubuntu people getting together locally. That's what I would answer.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a nice summary. I mean, there's a broad range of activities around Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is everywhere. It's on the cloud, on the phone, on the desktop. Right now, we're ramping up to the phone release, but there's lots of other areas. And I think, yeah, to summarize it as Daniel is saying, just getting together with your local, getting to know them, that should be the most pressing issue, because I think local communities are the heart of Ubuntu, and it's what builds the Ubuntu community and what makes Ubuntu like a nice place to be.
Yeah, Ubuntu is Linux for human beings after all.
Cool.
Yeah, one last thing. Jose wants me to let you know that you should subscribe to the Ubuntu On Air YouTube, Twitter, Google Plus, and every other account, because that's how you're going to find out about new shows, things that have happened in the past. So make sure you do that to keep Jose a happy man. And with that, have a nice day, everyone, and I'm looking forward to all the stories you have from the Ubuntu Global Jam. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye.